Today, we're diving into something that could completely flip the script on global trade. We're talking about a technology that promises to make every single step of a product's journey, from a factory floor all the way to your front door, completely, totally, and utterly verifiable and tamper-proof. So, let's get into how it all works.
Just stop and think about that question for a second. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? We live in an age where you can watch a little icon of your pizza move street by street in real time. But the gigantic, multi-trillion-dollar global supply chain that our entire world runs on, a lot of it still operates in the dark. And look, this isn't just some minor inconvenience. It's a massive vulnerability that leads to counterfeit goods, incredible amounts of fraud, and sometimes it leads to tragedies that cost people their lives.
So, what's the hang-up? And why is this so hard to fix? Well, it all boils down to this fundamental conflict, a real dilemma that's been bugging the industry for decades. See, to make a supply chain run smoothly and efficiently, everybody involved, the manufacturer, the shipper, the customs agent, the store, they all need to share information openly. But for any one of those companies to stay in business, they have to protect their sensitive data from competitors. It's like a state secret. So you have this paradox. Share everything and you risk your entire business. Share nothing and the whole system just grinds to a halt.
For the longest time, this problem just seemed impossible. It was like you can have efficiency or you can have security. Pick one. But the research we're breaking down today puts forward this really elegant solution by mashing together two super powerful technologies. So let's dig into these building blocks one by one.
Okay, first up, blockchain. Now let's push aside all the crypto hype for a second. At its absolute core, a blockchain is just a special kind of database. The key features that matter here are that it's decentralized, meaning no one company or person owns or controls it. It's immutable, meaning once you write something down, it can never be changed or erased. And it's traceable, creating this permanent, unbreakable chain of evidence. That public notebook analogy is just perfect. Everyone involved can read it, anyone can add a new line, but nobody, and I mean nobody, can go back and scribble out what's already there.
Now, what's really fascinating is how the network maintains that trust without a boss, without a central authority. This diagram here shows that system. It's called consensus. You can see all these different nodes in the network. You've got these candidate nodes here and a master node over here, and they all have to talk to each other and basically vote to agree that new information is legit before it ever gets added to the chain. This distributed teamwork is what makes it so incredibly secure. You can't just hack one computer. You have to try and take over the majority of this whole complicated network all at once. It's practically impossible.
All right, building block number 2. This is a revolutionary kind of AI called federated learning. And the way the research paper describes it is just fantastic. Data remains stationary while the model moves. Okay, imagine you want to train an AI to be a master at predicting shipping delays. The old way? You'd have to get FedEx, UPS, and DHL to all dump their private shipping data into one giant, super vulnerable database. With federated learning, you don't do that. Instead, you send the AI model itself. Think of it like a traveling teacher to go learn from FedEx's data on their servers. Then it travels over to UPS to learn from their data, and so on. The model gets smarter from everyone's input, but no one's private, raw data ever leaves their own secure home base. And this diagram just lays it out so clearly. You see the training participants on the left? They're the ones holding the valuable private data. They ping the network, which then uses that secure blockchain system to pick some nodes to help out. The AI model learns from their data locally, right where it is, and only the learnings, the insights, not the actual data, get shared back. It's a way for everyone to contribute their knowledge to make the whole system smarter, without ever having to show their cards.
So, we have blockchain, which gives us a shared, unbreakable source of truth. And we have federated learning, which lets us build intelligence together without sacrificing privacy. Now, on their own, each one is powerful. But the real genius, the absolute breakthrough in this research, is how it fuses them together to finally solve that old dilemma of efficiency versus security.
So how do they actually pull this off? Well, the paper calls it the privacy secret sauce. It starts with what they call alignment, where companies use encryption to tag their data. Then comes the really clever part, obfuscation, which uses these things called unintentional pseudo-random functions. It's a bit of a mouthful, but what it means is that companies can find matching items like the same shipping container ID without ever actually revealing the real IDs to each other. It's wild. And finally, a technique called cuckoo hashing provides the acceleration, which makes this whole matching process lightning fast, which is absolutely essential if you want this to work at a global scale.
Now, to make the AI training itself completely bulletproof, the system uses a concept called homomorphic encryption. And this analogy just nails it. It's a special kind of encryption that lets you do math, like adding and multiplying on data, while it is still encrypted. The AI model can chew on all this encrypted data from all the different partners, come up with an answer, and only then is the final result unlocked. It is the ultimate form of privacy. You're getting the right answer without ever peeking at the secret numbers.
Okay, so this is all great in theory, right? But does it actually work? Well, this graph right here, this is the wow moment. This is the proof. The green line is the improved model from the paper, the one combining everything we just talked about. Just look how fast and smooth it shoots up to almost perfect accuracy in just a dozen tries. Now look at the yellow line. That's the old way. It's all over the place, it struggles, it never even comes close. We're not talking about a small improvement here. This is a quantum leap in performance.
And here is the headline number from that test: 96.88%. That is the peak accuracy this new model hit. That is an incredible level of precision, and it's only possible because these different partners were able to work together securely. This proves it's not just a cool idea, this system works, and it works ridiculously well. This is the kind of accuracy that lets you run the world on it.
But what about speed? I mean, can it handle the real world? Usually when you add more people to a network, things slow down to a crawl. So they tested it, scaling the network all the way up to 360 nodes. And the result? The new model runs more than twice as fast as the old methods. This is so important. It proves the system isn't just accurate, it's efficient. It's ready for prime time. In fact, it gets better the bigger it gets. It's built for global scale.
Okay, so let's connect all the dots. We've got a technology that's proven to be accurate, secure, private, and fast enough to run the world. Now we get to the most important part of this whole explainer. So what? What does this actually mean for us, for the world? Let's look at the industries that are about to get completely turned upside down.
Let's start with pharmaceuticals, where trust is literally a matter of life and death. The World Health Organization figures that up to 1 out of every 10 drugs in developing countries is fake. With this tech, a pharmacist or even you could scan a code on a bottle of medicine and instantly see an unchangeable blockchain-verified history of its entire life. You'd see when it left the lab, its temperature the whole trip, every single stop it made. Counterfeit drugs? They become impossible to sneak into the system. We could finally guarantee that our medicine is safe and effective.
And this same idea applies directly to the food on our dinner tables. Remember the last big E. coli outbreak? It can take weeks to find the source, and in that time, millions of dollars of perfectly good food gets tossed out just to be safe. With this system, a simple scan of a QR code on a bag of spinach could instantly tell you the exact farm it came from, the day it was picked, and its entire journey. We could pinpoint an outbreak in minutes, not weeks. And it also means that when you pay extra for something that says organic or free range, you can actually prove that it's true.
And of course, the big one, the engine of global trade itself, logistics. Right now, so much of international shipping runs on piles of paper, faxes, and emails. It's a mess, and it's wide open for fraud and delays. This tech introduces something called smart contracts. These are basically automated if-then agreements that live on the blockchain. So, a smart contract could say, if this container is verified by GPS and sensors to have arrived safely in port, then automatically release the payment. Just like that. No more chasing invoices, no more customs fraud, no more lost paperwork. It makes trade almost frictionless.
Now, a shift in technology this huge doesn't happen in a neat little box. It completely redraws the playing field. It creates very clear winners, and it absolutely creates losers. So let's break down who wins, who gets left behind, and what our world could actually look like in just 5 years if this really takes off.
The winners are pretty easy to spot. First and foremost, we win, consumers. We get a world of safety and real transparency. Small businesses win big time because they can compete on a level playing field where trust is guaranteed by the math, not by the size of your marketing budget. And regulators win because auditing a supply chain goes from a nightmare of paperwork to just checking a public digital record. The losers? Any middleman whose only job is to provide trust. If trust is just built into the system, you don't need them anymore. Of course, the bad actors, the counterfeiters, the fraudsters, they're just out of a job. And finally, the old tech companies providing the slow, centralized, insecure systems, they'll have to adapt or die.
So let's paint a picture of this near future. I think we're heading towards a world of what you could call radical transparency. This isn't just about knowing what country your t-shirt came from. It's about being able to verify claims about whether it was made with child labor or if it's truly carbon neutral. Every single product we buy will have a story, and for the very first time, that story will be provably true. This new layer of trust and transparency is what finally unlocks the next huge step: real automation. With smart contracts handling all the payments and verification, and that federated AI constantly learning and optimizing everything, we will see the rise of autonomous supply chains. The entire global flow of goods will be managed by intelligent, self-healing algorithms, not by people sitting in offices sending emails and updating spreadsheets. It's a leap in efficiency as big as the invention of the shipping container itself.
But the most profound change of all, I think, is a social one. This tech enables something called trustless collaboration. Now, that sounds like a total contradiction, but what it means is you don't have to blindly trust your partners anymore, because the trust is guaranteed by the math of the system. This means that fierce competitors, say two giant car companies, could securely share insights from their factory data to solve a global problem like a chip shortage, without ever revealing their trade secrets to each other. It lets us solve bigger problems together.
And that really leaves us with one final huge thought. We're stepping into an era where verifying things isn't just possible, it's easy. So if we can actually prove the origin, the journey, and the true impact of everything in our world, how does that change the choices we make? What will we as people and as a society choose to build, choose to buy, and choose to truly value when the truth is no longer up for debate, but it's a matter of public record?
Thank you.